you have to, and then you also have to understand your value. If you don't understand your value, your confidence is down, your fear factor will be top notch, and your mindset is going to be, it's going to be shaky. So you have to understand what you can bring to the table, how you can bring it to this table, how successful you can bring it to the table, how often you can bring it to the table. And once you can identify with those things, and you got to keep practicing. Like everybody doesn't have it, do it and get it 1, 2, 3. There's been times that, I wanted to get a client, featured on a particular media platform and it didn't work. And it's not because of me. It's because of, it's not the moment. It's not the flavor of the moment, or whatever. But you have to put your 100% in. You cannot have fear take over your life. Your value should overcome all of that. You should say to yourself, my value needs so much more. So when that person tells you, no, I'm not going to pay you this, but you could get paid that, or that person tells you, no, you can't get in that room because, you're not here, but you know that you are. There are ways to get in there. There's ways.
You're listening to the First Class Life Show hosted by Lindsay Vertner, a holistic personal development show for high-achieving leaders who desire to maximize their impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. So grab a drink, grab your notebook, and let's get started. Hey, world. Welcome back to another episode of the First Class Life Show with your host, Lindsay Vertner. That is me, your mindset expert and transformational speaker. And I am excited for today's guest because I feel like she's going to give us some juicy tea, okay? Thank you for tuning in, First Class Life family. As you know, this podcast is all about helping you to maximize your impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. And we know that you could be doing anything in the world right now, but you are here with us, and we are very grateful for spending your time here with us today. So, because I know you're busy people, you know how we do. We like to hop right into the discussion, okay? So, welcome today's guest, Sharon Leid. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I love your energy.
Yes. I love it. We have fun on the First Class Live Show, okay?
I can see.
I've had the opportunity to kind of read on your background and everything, but what I want you to do is to tell the First Class family, like, who is Sharon really? Give us the good tea, like, peel back the curtains and let us know what's up, girlfriend. Like, who are you, okay?
Oh my gosh, who am I? Who am I? You know what? It's so funny. When people ask me that question, I have to go and think back. I was like, okay, do I go back to when I was in elementary school, when I wanted to be a pediatrician, but who am I really? And who am I really is I'm a mom to 3 amazing sons, wife to my high school sweetheart, married 27 years. And I am literally a person that loves to pour into people. And why I say that, people poured into me during my undergrad, my graduate years, when I moved up the ladder in my career in public relations, community engagement. And to just go back, I initially did not want to do this. I never thought of being an entrepreneur. I thought of being, first and foremost, a doctor, pediatrician, because I love kids. And, when I realized I couldn't do that was when, one of the criteria to being a doctor, you have to be able to, see blood. I couldn't do that. So we knew that was out. And then it was like, oh, I want to be a lawyer. So I went to John Jay College of Criminal Justice, went to, got connected with a lot of lawyers and attorneys. My internship was in the DA's office. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a lawyer. And that definitely shifted when I got into the DA's office. And something was just brought to my attention, which I didn't know I was doing. I was doing it, but I didn't know I was doing, which was networking. Mm-hmm. And, one of the bureau chiefs there came to me and said, Sharon, I think you will be really good because you're a people's person. You're always pouring into. I've had this bureau chief come to John Jay to speak to, the student body, because I was on a lot of clubs. And he was like, there's a position here I think you'll do great in. And I was like, what is it? He was like, it's community engagement. And I was like, what is that? He was like, that's the same thing what you're doing now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, no problem. And that was the start and the journey of my career now. I literally just started talking to people about the programs and initiatives, what the DA had, bringing awareness to people with things that they just necessarily didn't know about. And, didn't realize that, this was my calling. So yeah, lawyer went out the door, pediatrician went out the door, and community engagement. I became the youngest African-American non-legal executive in that position at the DA's office. And then, went on to just, really just building myself. After I saw that, I was like, I need to go back to school. So I went and got my master's in public administration at John Jay, because I was still in the law enforcement sector. Mm-hmm. And I was like, because you got to build yourself. You got to continue building. You don't always stay stagnant and say, you know what, I'm at this point, I'm good. No, you should always. So I went and got my master's. And, long story short, things just started moving. And, my mindset kept changing. My husband was pouring into me. My family was pouring into me. And it was just really like, okay, you can really continue going higher and higher, which then, I always say, God got a funny sense of humor. Ooh, he got a funny sense of humor, because at the pivot of, I thought was my career, there was an election, and the DA that I was working for lost. And I got laid off 2 weeks before Christmas. And I was like, oh, shoot, what now? Mm-hmm. Mind you, my husband prior to that had just got a job, because 6 months when we bought our house, he lost his job. Mm-hmm. And when he got his job, it was literally a year span of what we had. So talk about mindset, talk about, faith, talk about, putting all your eggs in God's basket. That's what we did. And we literally, when I lost it, it was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And I had no choice but to jump in and make things happen. Mm-hmm. And crazy enough, I was moving and shaking. I knew people. I'm saying to myself, okay, somebody going to hire me, right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I was, executive director of the DA's office. I knew all these people. And you know what? The one thing people were telling me, I would love to hire you, but I don't think I can afford you. And I was like, I got to afford myself. And that's when I started becoming an entrepreneur. So that's my story in a nutshell.
There's so many different areas that we could take that story, but the number one part that stood out to me was essentially you were already doing what you feel is your purpose. And so oftentimes our purpose can find us. It's being open to recognizing the signs and being open to pivot from what we thought we wanted to do. So what would be a little bit of advice you could share about that person out there that is looking to discover their purpose? How can they recognize it?
One thing, you definitely need to get a mentor. Somebody that sees that sticks to you and sees something in you that you don't see in yourself. I had a lot of those people. And, once you connect with that person, this is a twofold. Once you connect with that person is going to highlight things to you that you never saw in yourself. And you need to be open. You can't be closed-minded, because what you're thinking is this, it really isn't your calling. And that person is going to pull out those nuggets to you to say, hey, do you know that this is what you did? And that's what he did. He pointed it out to me. He said, you're doing this. You had me come. You had other judges come. You connected. You brought awareness. And I didn't even know what that was. So, for those out there who really don't know what your purpose is, start connecting with people who are positive, people who see, who is connected to you in a positive way, and just start talking. Another thing what you need to do, you really need to just sit down and say, what do you like doing? The one thing I love to do is talk. I love to talk. My husband calls me a social butterfly. Like I'm like here. I love to talk. So think about, what do you love to do? And then see if this is something that you can parlay that into your purpose. If you're doing something that you don't like, obviously that's not your purpose. But people say, you know what, I'm bringing money in, so I'm going to keep doing it. But you hate it. Why go that route? Mm-hmm. There's something in your life, in your purpose that you love to do. And then you just need to follow it and get the correct mentoring with it, because you can't do it by yourself.
Hey, I know it can be exhausting blazing the trail and creating a legacy. And you're at the point in your life where you desire peace and rest. You want to enjoy both the physical freedom and financial freedom to live life on your terms. You understand the importance of prioritizing your self-care. And you know that you're worthy of transformational experiences surrounded by other high-achieving, goal-oriented women just like you. That's why you deserve to be treated like VIP at the First Class Life Luxury Self-Care Retreat for Women. You deserve to show up and just be you. Away from the titles and roles that keep you busy from day to day. You deserve the luxury to fully unplug. It's time for you to embrace your first class life. Visit firstclassliferetreats.com to secure your VIP spot today, because you deserve it.
Yes. Now, you were able to, I'm assuming you had your mentors from your colleagues and things like that, and you just kind of naturally connected there. But what if somebody doesn't readily have a mentor available? How would they go about identifying who that person could be?
Networking. That is the one thing that I tell people. If you do not network, you are literally closing the door to opportunities that you are missing. You will never know somebody is out there for you if you don't go out and network. And there's ways that people are scared of networking. They're like, I don't understand how to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't get anything out of it. When you go and network, it doesn't necessarily have to mean a networking event. If you're working, see who at your workplace is, somebody that's positive. See in your workplace, if you go into church, see who's there that is a positive person. You always want to find somebody that's positive. So, don't close your mind to say, I don't know where to go. Clearly you're working. If you go to church, you go to church. If there's a non-for-profit organization that you know of, if there's people, your circle, your good girlfriends or your boys, there's somebody in there that would actually turn around and say, you know what, you got a good heart. You got a good purpose. Let's talk about it. And then now extend it. You got to do the work. You got to look out for that person that you feel would be that ideal person for you. And they're going to fall in your lap, believe it or not. Now you're going to come across a lot of phony people, and you have to see in your inner self, okay, is this person really out, to help me, to help build, and we can build together, because it's not a one-way street. It's building together. But, you really got to identify that. And that's where you change your mindset. That's where you say to yourself in your heart, I need to do better for myself. So what does that look like? I do a vision board every year, and I revamp it, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Like, okay, wait a minute, because my vision board is not only just, what I want to get. It's also words. It's affirmations. And I might find another affirmation that I said, this works for me. I'm going to put this on here. And how often am I going to say it? And how often am I going to live in that purpose? So those are things that what I do, that I tell other people. I tell my clients that, like, you have to focus on your purpose. You have to focus on what you love doing, because if you don't love doing it, then it's not your true purpose.
Okay. So now, I have to ask you, all right, I've identified these places that I can go to search for my potential mentor. Share like your top networking tips on making that happen.
Ooh, my top networking tips to make that happen. First and foremost, if you decide to go to a networking event and you want to meet people and you see this online, look up who the organizer is. That's what people used to do to me, and that's what I did when I went to networking events. I looked up the organizer. I reached out to the organizer. And the questions that I asked was, hey, listen, I'm a new entrepreneur, or I am somebody that's just looking to come out and network. I just lost my job, and I'm looking to connect with like-minded people that actually can pour into me, and I can pour into them. We can actually connect. Is this type of setting? Is this the type of setting that you have for me to attend? 9 times out of 10, if they are a true networking organizer, they are going to tell you yes. I definitely have some people in the room, and they're going to take it a step further. Well, let's have a further conversation because maybe I can help you. And that's how I've actually built a lot of connections with people when they just reached out to me or I reached out to them and I saw that they had authenticity. I said, you know what, this is a pretty nice person. Let's see if we can actually cultivate a great relationship and, and just continue that on. So that's one, reaching out to the organizer. Two, once you do that and you get into the room, the question is you don't go to everybody. Okay. Like I said, if that's a true organizer in their head, whoever they know who's attending, they already know who to connect you with. Because that's what I did. I had people that, first time coming, they told me what they were looking to do. I already had somebody in mind that was either going to be there or I called them and said, hey, I know somebody that's going to be coming here. There's going to be a great connect for you. You need to come. And then once that person gets in there, so now you go into the organizer and say, hey, my name is Sharon. I'm here. It's so great to physically meet you in person. Thank you so much. They are now going to take you around that room and you are now going to start connecting with people. And you're now going to start seeing how you can actually cultivate relationships with these people. So that's going into a networking event. If you're at work, networking at work. I know people are like, oh, I got to do my job. I got to do this. Everybody knows at work, you are not working straight 9 to 5, right in those, whatever you're doing, you're not doing that straight. Everybody gets a little break here. People are talking, they're chit chatting, they're whatever. You are going to see somebody in your workplace that you feel that you could connect with on a different level, that you could outside of work. And if that's the case, then you need to cultivate, you need to start that conversation going. And what that conversation simply is just really just talking about your personal life but again, you got to feel confident. You have to trust that person because you don't want folk knowing stuff at work that's outside of your house. So you got to be really comfortable with this person. And I've had that with people, when in my place of work, I reach out to people and we hang out outside of work, and those people, we pour into each other. They want to have their own business. I don't call it side business. They want to have their own business, but still work 9 to 5. And I tell them, listen, this is how you could do it because this is how I did it. But it has to be some type of relatable concept between you and those people. So that's I want to maybe leave this with, it has to be relations. Has to be something related to who you want to network with so you can take that to the next level.
Yes. Now, I heard you mention a key word in here, which was confidence. And so for that person that may be feeling like a lack of confidence, feeling like, I don't know if I'm good enough, because I know it can be intimidating. One, if you're walking into a place where you don't know anybody, or two, if you feel like everybody else is of a certain status or level that you maybe have not attained yet. And so how can one build that confidence to show up authentically as who they are and really just walk in who they are confidently so that they don't like fluster these relationships? Yeah, like.
So, that's an amazing thought process of what you have to do. And it's all in the mindset. When I talk to my clients, a lot of my clients come to me and say, Sharon, I don't want to go in front of the media. Like I want something else to be, the forefront of my business. And the question that I ask them is, then why did you go into business? Mm-hmm. Like you have to look at yourself and say, I am the best, whatever, out here. Because you are the only one that does it that way. So when you walk into a room and you have that lack of confidence, first of all, do not go to an event and you are not on your A game. It will show all over your face, your body manners, everything. It would show. So if you're not feeling well, if you're not up to it, sometimes, and we're all sometimes like that. If you're not up to it, you got to hype yourself up. I'm a type of person that I would say to myself, I don't feel like going nowhere. I'm tired. I just want to go lay down. I want to curl up in the bed and I want to binge on Grey's Anatomy or, or whatever. But then I'm like, you know what? Get up. Just get up because you don't know who's in that room who you need to connect with. Mm-hmm. So I got to hype myself up. So how I hype myself up is like, okay, my affirmations. Like, listen, I know I am damn good at what I can do in my work. Like I can connect people. I can pull out a story that people never even knew that they had about themselves. And that hypes me up. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm out. I'm gone. What you have to do is the same thing. You have to have affirmations. You have to say to yourself, okay, what is it that I need, that I can do best at, that I can really show? It shows on my shoulders. You know, you show up and you show out. I also listen to motivational speeches. Like I am every single morning. I'm in the car. I'm taking my kids to school. I am, driving or whatever. It is literally stuck on my, in my car on my phone that I'm like, okay, what am I going to listen to today? Who do I follow that I know there's going to be one phrase in there that's going to jumpstart me to get my confidence going? Because we're humans. We get beat up a lot. Like I said, God got a sense of humor, but his sense of humor is he's challenging you to do certain things that he knows you can do. You just got to believe it. And you got to walk out with that belief. And once you have that, it's like, okay, sky's the limit. You may get beat down. Somebody may ask you a question, whatever. Be like, oh, you know what? And that pushes you back. But you got to keep forward. You got to stay that confidence and be like, you know what? I don't know everything, just like everybody else doesn't know everything, and you make it into a joke because that's happened to me, so you don't take negativity and let it beat you up. You got to stay confident of everything and what you do and just say to yourself, listen, there's a higher being that believes in me. I got to believe in myself.
Oh, yes. What's your favorite affirmation?
A higher being is bigger than me. There is a higher being bigger than me. I need to believe in myself. That is why that's every single day I say that. I have a routine every morning. I listen to my daily bread. I pray. I take my son to school and we do the same thing in the car. Same thing in the car. Because sometimes he'll be like, he's 15. Mom, I don't want to go to school. Mom, I don't want to go to school. Boy, you're going to go to school, and this is how you're going to go about doing this. Because he's like, oh, I don't like this class. She doesn't make sense, or he doesn't make sense. And I'm like, boy, listen, we'll play a daily bread script, and we'll talk about it. And by the time he gets out that car, he's like, I'm like, did you understand how your day is going to go now based off of what we just heard? And he's like, yeah, I did. And then he's a big fan of Steve Harvey. He's like, so I make sure I play a Steve Harvey, video for him so he can listen to, that he can walk out that car and be like, okay, I'm going to listen to Steve Harvey in my head.
Looking for amazing products to help boost your first-class lifestyle? Then head over to firstclasslifeshop.com, where you can treat yourself to personal development books and workbooks, lifestyle affirmation cards, adult coloring books, mugs, notebooks, hoodies, t-shirts, leggings, and more. All products were designed to help you master your mindset, walk in your purpose, and live your first-class life, because you deserve it. So treat yourself today at firstclasslifeshop.com. Again, that's firstclasslifeshop.com.
I love it. Now, earlier you mentioned that you were the first.
Yes, I was the first African-American non-legal female to run that position in the DA's office. And that was the executive director for community relations in the Brooklyn DA's office. Yeah.
Now, being the first anything has its own trailblazing path. What did that look like for you as far as your journey? Because that took a level of confidence, but there also could have been a level of fear there. Like, I'm the first to ever, because then you have that added pressure. Like, you don't want to mess it up, because then you could be closing the door for everybody behind you. Tell us about that journey.
So here's the crazy part. I didn't realize that until I started going to professional development workshops and classes and listening to, podcasts such as yours, just listening to that. When I got laid off, that wasn't something I knew. And I went in and people and this is what I do with clients, I pull out your uniqueness. And I used to sit there and say to myself, I'm not unique. There's nothing unique about me. And they're like, well, talk to me about your journey. And when I say that, and then, they'll ask me, well, that's a pretty decent position. Who else had it before you? And I was like, well, an older, Black gentleman had it. And, there was before us, there was, a white woman who had it. And, it really wasn't a thing at that point. And that's when they were like, okay, are you legal? No, not legal. Okay, so you're non-legal, you're young, because I got that position in my mid-20s. And they would just, and I was just like, wow, okay, that's powerful. Like, that's a red apple for me. And so I started going in with that in my head, like, you know what, this does have a relation to some people. Like, people can actually relate to that. And when I walk into the room and I say that, it makes other people start thinking about themselves, like, where was their journey? Mm-hmm. And I start talking to them. It was like, were you a first of anything? And it doesn't necessarily have to mean something big, but it definitely makes you feel as though that you're laying a foundation for others, that they can definitely do this. And I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for my mentor, if it wasn't for that assistant DA, Michael Fred, I got to say his name, if he did not come to me with that unknown, I would have never, I'll be honest with you, I would have never been, because I was a paralegal, graduate, and it was like law, and it was just, I would have never, ever known. So having that as part of my being, that I'm a first of something, I feel that I can also let other young women, other Black young women, other women, period, know that you could be the first of something in your agency, in where you place of work, or just in your own being, in your business. You just have to create it, and you have to own it. And once you do that, again, sky's the limit.
Were there any fears that you had to overcome during that process?
Again, I didn't know. You understand? So I didn't know that this was the process I was going. I literally was like, okay, I know I wanted to go high. That I knew. And I did all the work. I put my all into it. I mean, there were days, and God bless my husband, because our kids were younger. Mm-hmm. Our two oldest, they were younger. So he was really taking on the days that I had to, because, with community relations, it's really going out into the community and creating relationships. So this isn't just a one-off. You're constantly going out, talking with these people, for them to trust you, for them to know who you are, for them to know that you could deliver. So there were times that, my kids had an event and I couldn't be there, but my husband was there. So there was a lot of sacrifice that now I don't have to do that, because I created that. And, you do the work in the front end. When it comes down to the, later on, you see how it was a benefit, but you also see that there's something that I'm not going to do that again. I already did that. I know how to get around it now. We got phones, we have, Zoom, we have all of these technology that I can literally create a relationship with somebody out, in Dubai, and they can see that I can deliver. So there's different technologies and different things that what we can do, but the fear factor wasn't there, which is crazy. I don't walk with fear. I walk with faith.
I don't walk with fear. I walk with faith.
Yeah.
Now, we got to take a pivot right there, because what would you say to that leader that is listening out there that does have, a spirit of fear in them? How can they shift into walking with faith rather than fear, despite what their beliefs are?
You know what? Again, this is all mindset. It's all mindset. My mindset is so positive, and then you have to be around positive people. You got to be that. That's where your mentor comes in. That's where if you can do it, get a coach. All of these things plays a part. Listening to positive affirmations, listen to positive videos. There are so many videos out there, so many motivational speakers, empowerment speakers, so many out there that you can relate to. So if you have that fear factor to say, I'm not going to go out and do that because it's just not going to work, you have to, and then you also have to understand your value. If you don't understand your value, your confidence is down, your fear factor will be top notch, and your mindset is going to be, it's going to be shaky. So you have to understand what you can bring to the table, how you can bring it to this table, how successful you can bring it to the table, how often you can bring it to the table. And once you can identify with those things, and you got to keep practicing. Like everybody doesn't have it, do it and get it 1, 2, 3. There's been times that, I wanted to get a client, featured on a particular media platform and it didn't work. And it's not because of me. It's because of, it's not the moment. It's not the flavor of the moment, or whatever. But you have to put your 100% in. You cannot have fear take over your life. Your value should overcome all of that. You should say to yourself, my value needs so much more. So when that person tells you, no, I'm not going to pay you this, but you could get paid that, or that person tells you, no, you can't get in that room because, you're not here, but you know that you are. There are ways to get in there. There's ways to get in there. There was an opportunity that I said to myself, again, John Jay College of Criminal Justice. That's a law enforcement college, straight up and down. You got cops in there, judges, everything, forensic science, everything. And that was my background. And I want to say at one point in my life, that was probably the one thing that I felt that I never would have been able to do, was to get into John Jay and to teach, because I wanted to go back to my own college where it actually poured into me. And I got my master's degree in 2009. We're now in 2022. And I said to myself, how is it that I can get into this? Because I'm not teaching criminal justice. Absolutely not. I'm not going to go that route. And so I decided to, become heavily involved in the Alumni Association. So I started talking to the students as a John Jay alum and just talking to them about my journey and what I did and what I'm doing now as an entrepreneur and this and that. And this year, it actually came into fruition that I was offered to be an adjunct professor, which I told you I would never, ever would have thought. And it was in my head. And my husband told me, he said, you know what? You are a type of person that when you put it out there in the universe, it may not come right now, but it will eventually come. Mm-hmm. And that's because I don't follow with fear. I follow with faith. So anybody who has that fear, you need to take that, eliminate it out of your vocabulary, out of your brain, because it can happen once you put things in place. It will happen. It will eventually happen. It may not happen when you want it to, but it will happen. So don't live by fear. Mm-hmm. It's not going to work.
Yeah, and I think that shows the power of being open to how the journey may come, because sometimes we get in our mind like, all right, this is the goal and I want it to look exactly like this. We're going to make a left turn, then another left turn, then we're going to turn right, walk 3 blocks, and boom, we're there. And then we get to that first corner and we're detoured right. And then we start having this pity party like, wait, this is not how it's supposed to be working. And we can get caught up in like just the disappointment of this is not how I planned it to look for my life, and just get stuck in that. So I think that that's very important to point out. Like, it didn't necessarily show up how you thought it would look, but it still showed up because you were committed to that vision.
Absolutely. There was one thing on a video that Steve Harvey had played, and I don't know if people follow him or whatever, but I always take things out as a message. And he says, that jump story that he always talks about, you got to jump. And he said something that he said, I'm going to be honest with you. When you jump, that parachute is not going to open immediately. And you're going to be flying and, you're going to be, sailing. You're going to get some bumps here and there and whatever. He said, but eventually you're not going to hit the floor. If you continue just putting the work into it and keeping your faith and looking and understanding your value and pouring into yourself and keep doing things to make you better, he said eventually that parachute is going to open. And when it opens, it is going to be such a breath of fresh air. Any fear or anything that comes into play that will just literally deter you would just disappear. And I think about that all the time. Like, that parachute is not going to open. Like, when you put something in place, it's not going to happen immediately. I didn't make money immediately when I started my business. I didn't make money immediately when I started the job as a community relations specialist. I started as a specialist and I ended up to be the executive director, which I never thought I never in a million years, I would have never thought that I would have been in that position. But you gotta put yourself in a different mindset. You gotta put yourself in a different mindset. And it may not look right, but you gotta stay the course because eventually you will get it.
Are you loving the First Class Life Show? Then join our private Patreon community. Not only will you help to support our ability to provide you with great content, but you can also get exclusive perks like bonus videos and resources, discounts, episode transcripts, and more. So what are you waiting for? Join today at patreon.com/firstclasslife. Again, that's Patreon, patreon.com/firstclasslife.
Yeah, listen, First Class family. I hope you are taking notes. If not, you make sure you go back and watch the replay, okay? Meanwhile, I think that this would be a perfect time to play a little game. Are you up for a game?
I'm up for a game.
Okay,
I'm up for it.
Let me get my timer out here. So it's a real easy game. It's called First Class Favorites. And all we're going to do is I'm going to say, what is your favorite? Fill in the blank, and you're going to fill in the blank. Simple. Okay. Right?
Okay.
Answer in 10 seconds or less.
Oh my God, and I'm timed. Okay. All right.
If you miss the buzzer, that's going to be a consequence. All right.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So, if you miss the buzzer, what is the consequence for everybody listening? It can be a shy, it could be a push up, it can be give a compliment to somebody you don't like. Any of the things. What do you want that to be?
Let's see. Give a compliment to somebody you don't like.
Okay.
That builds character. That's like, ooh, no.
Yes, and you must be genuine about that compliment.
It has to be authentic. It really has, because even though you don't like somebody, there's something in them that's be like, you know what? I got you on that game. You good on that game. And that's what you would have to do. You got to find that okay thing of that person in order to do it. So we gave you the guidelines for that. But hopefully you don't have to do it.
We're gonna find out. Even with that consequence, it'll be a seed of the relationship changing, especially if you are truly genuine and authentic with the words that you speak. Like, just pay attention. If she misses the buzzer, and you have to do that, pay attention to the energy that happens whenever.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, that's why I said, give a compliment to somebody, because it may just turn the whole relationship around that you did not expect.
Ooh, okay. Now I have to really hope you miss all of them. Family to work, okay? So we'll start with something easy. What is your favorite color? Go.
Oh, red.
Oh, yeah. Look, and I got red in my nails. Why is red your favorite color?
It's a power color. I walk into a room and I had a red dress on. Actually, when I was working for the DA's office, I had this red dress on, and I walked into this community room, and everybody was, going crazy. If everybody knows about community meetings, sometimes it goes left and sometimes it goes right, and then it's just literally just crazy. And I walked into the room. I had this red dress on, and I called it my power dress. And I walked and it was red down, red shoes, red dress, red pocketbook. I just walked in, and the way that I walked in, the organizer of the event stopped everything. And he was like, okay, we got the DA's office in the house. He just walked in here. And I was like, is he talking to me? And, he was like, Miss Leid, come, we were waiting for you. It was not waiting for me, but he was like, afterwards, he told me, he said, you know what, when you walked into that room, I saw confidence and I saw everything need to shut down. And I used that to my benefit, because everybody was just going crazy. And, and I laughed at that, and that stuck in my head. And I was like, you know what? I do look nice in red, and I love red. Red is in my brand colors. So you know what? red is my favorite color.
Nice, nice. And I have this thing called confidence power. We all have a certain level of CP, and you have to make sure that you are walking in your confidence, walking in your power, your confidence power, anytime you're doing anything, because you never know the energy that you're giving off. So,
Yeah.
So good. So good. So good. What is your favorite activity to do to relax? Go.
Activity to relax. Wow. I have to say walking. I like to walk.
Okay.
It makes me think. It makes me think, you know, I might be playing music, might be playing my videos, my empowerment videos or whatever, or, you know, just walking. And, you know, I walk with my husband a lot. You know, we talk, we build. We figure out, okay, what's our next step? Because he's my business partner. You know, he has a photography and video business, which goes hand in hand with my brand. So we talk, but it clears my mind. I love to walk. I can walk miles.
Okay. What is your favorite drink? Can't say water. Go.
Bailey's. I'm sorry. Don't judge me.
No, hashtag no judgment zone on the First Class Live show, okay?
Bailey's cream. I can drink that. No problem. I just came from Jamaica. And the first time I went to Jamaica, and if I had to have a secondary, it would be the Bob Marley drink.
So, have you tried all the different flavors of Bailey's?
So I've had only the regular cream, but I've heard that the other flavors are really good. I just have not had a chance to do that. So do you have a favorite?
You gotta try the different flavors. Do you like to drink hot chocolate?
Yes.
Have you ever put Bailey's in your hot chocolate?
I haven't, but I put Bailey's in my coffee.
Try it next time. Look, winter season is among us. Next time you bring some hot chocolate, pour a little Bailey's in there.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try it for Christmas. Tell the kids don't drink this one.
Adult hot chocolate, kid hot chocolate.
Exactly. Yeah, no.
So next, what is your favorite food? Go.
Macaroni and cheese.
Ooh,
baked macaroni. It gotta be homemade. You gotta have the different cheeses in there.
I was gonna ask if you do the baked version or not.
Yes. No, I don't do the instant.
Boxes over here.
No, I don't do that.
So, what is your favorite book, author, and title? Go.
Wow, it has to be The Power of Black Women by Dr. Avis Jones DeWeaver. And why I say that is because in her book, she has literally went from talking about the value of what Black women are, what we can bring to the table, and what we have not been seen as, and how we need to understand our value and what we do as, as women, and, and just really stepping out in our purpose. So, yeah.
Nice. Shout out to Dr. Avis. Yes. What is your favorite song, singer, and title? Go.
Mary J. Blige. And so I love all of Mary's song. I have to say, I love, but there's one, oh gosh, what is it? And I play it all the time. It's so crazy. All of You, I think. Oh gosh, she's going to kill me. But it is definitely Mary J. Blige. If anybody is a Mary J. Blige fan, not one of her videos is, her songs is bad, but I can't remember the other one.
Mm-hmm.
You're My Morning Star. That's it. You're My Morning Star.
So listen, we love us some Auntie Mary, okay? However, you did miss the buzzer on that one.
So, yeah.
And I forgot to...
Good cause, with good cause. Mary got a lot of good songs, so y'all got to give me a break on that one. But y'all got a consequence you got to do.
So y'all still got to give one compliment out. One compliment to somebody you don't like. Where's your favorite place to travel specifically? Go.
Wow, I have to say DR, Dominican Republic. Yes, Dominican Republic. We went there twice. Our third time we went. Our second time we went, it was for our 27th wedding anniversary, and it was amazing, just amazing. Like I can't wait to go back.
Okay, last one. What is your favorite quote? Go.
My favorite quote. Oh my goodness. I have to say, Steve Harvey, if you decide to jump, the parachute is not going to open. You just got to be patient.
Okay, so we had two missed buzzers. So First Class Family, y'all hear that? By the end of the week, y'all have to give out 2 genuine, authentic compliments to somebody you're not too fond of. Okay.
You know what I would love? I would love to do, if you guys can follow me on social media, and please put that, just send me a message, do something, just send it to me and just let me know, how did that work out? I'm really, really curious, because this can really, and I'm going to do it too, so I'm going to go to 2 people. I'm going to do it with you. How about that? I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to, I know 2 people too. I have to dig deep for this one, but I'm going to do it too. And we're going to share our experiences. How does that sound?
Yes. Don't forget to tag me too, because y'all know I want to know all of the things, okay?
If it went left, just don't take it personal. That's why you don't like them. But you did your justice.
You did your part. You let God handle the rest.
Exactly.
Yes, so thank you so much, Sharon, for playing First Class Favorite Things. And listen, First Class Family, make sure you are part of our Patreon community, because we have a uniquely curated First Class Favorite Things list, okay? We got our reading list. We have our favorite places to travel, because, we're a cultured people, okay? And we have our relaxing activities, because we're all about self-care on the First Class Life Show. And our song playlist, because, not everybody reads. So we got our book list, our song playlist, favorite places to travel, and relaxing activities, all for you, okay? Uniquely created from all of our phenomenal First Class Life Show guests. So if you want access to that and more, bonus videos, transcripts, all of that good stuff, lots of goodies, then make sure you click the link and join our private Patreon community so you can be a VIP, okay?
VIP.
Yes. So thank you again for playing First Class Favorite Things. And let's get back into this discussion. Okay. So First Class Family, if you are new to the show, then maybe you don't know that First Class Life is actually an acronym that stands for all of the different characteristics and skills that you want to embody into your lifestyle to be able to create a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness, okay? And if you want to know what First Class Life stands for, then there are one of 2 things that you can do. You can either go back and listen to the very first episode of the First Class Life Show, where I explain each of them in detail, or you can hit up firstclasslifeshop.com and purchase the book, First Class Life, 10 Key Factors to Creating a Life Full of Purpose, Fulfillment, and Happiness, okay? Meanwhile, we are going to ask the beautiful Sharon, which key factor do you feel that you resonate with the most, and why?
So, if you guys heard or read the book or went to the first episode, you guys know there was a word. There was a word that I was using constantly through this chat, I would say, and it's faith.
Mm-hmm.
I go with faith on everything that I do. My faith is so big, then my confidence is big, my self-worth is big, my self-discipline is big. My actions, I take action, because I know with my faith, I know I could do anything. So my actions will just go, and it's just like, oh, wow. Even I get shocked, like, wow, that actually worked. So my faith is so big, and I was brought up like that. My parents are very, very spiritual. And I can remember when my mom was buying a house, my parents were buying a house, and I would hear my dad say, we don't have the money. Like, what are we doing? We don't have the money. And my mom is like, the Lord will provide. That's all she would say. The Lord will provide. She was like, my faith is so big that I know the Lord knows we need to get a house. We got to get a house for our 3 kids. Like, we have to do this. And when we got the house, and then from then on, my parents moved into their house in St. Albans, Queens. I never forget, in 1988, in the winter, in December, in the snow, in the snow, they were searching for houses throughout the whole spring, summer, and fall. And they got the house in the winter of 1988. And they are still there to this day. And my dad would always turn around and say, we bought this house based off of your mom saying, the Lord will provide. Have a big faith. And that's how I grew up thinking. My faith is big. That's how we got through everything. We got through everything. I mean, we had some trials and tribulations in our own family, and we got out of it. We got through it. Like, everybody is good. We have no complaints. So my faith, that's the biggest thing.
Do you want to be surrounded by other high-achieving women who are working on their goals just like you? Are you looking for your circle that's passionate about their own growth yet still wants to see you shine? Do you desire to be supported through collaborations and connections instead of competition? Then Cowork and Chill is your place to be. Cowork and Chill is a hybrid of virtual co-working and virtual networking. It's a community of women who are striving to build living legacies. This is the space to create meaningful relationships with other equally yoked women where you're being poured into just as much as you pour out. So if you're looking for your crew for supportive accountability, then sign up today at coworkandchill.com. That's COWORKANDCHILL. coworkandchill.com.
Yeah. And I love that, because I often say, we have to believe in something bigger than ourselves.
Yes.
For my spiritual listeners out there, you're familiar with Romans 8:28, all things work together for my good according to his purpose and will. And then even anybody that may be listening that is not spiritual, it's also in science. There's research on, having that faith and believing in something bigger than yourself. Even with my own story, what it looked like in front of me, and according to the experts around me, my life was gone. I was dead. I was paralyzed, all these things. But I had faith in that moment that I would make a full recovery. I didn't know how, but that wasn't my job to worry about how. My faith was that I would make a full recovery because, one, I'm still here to begin with when they thought I was dead. And then two, although they don't think I will walk again, they don't think this, they don't think that. Again, I had faith that my recovery included a full recovery, which meant I would walk again. So just having that just belief, that stronghold belief that you hold on to and say that there is something bigger than me. And as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, it's all going to work out for my good, despite what it looks like right now in this moment.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So yeah, faith, number one.
I love it. So faith, having that faith. Now, tell us how you impact the world as a leader today, faithful and all.
Well, I am a publicity strategist, so I help small business entrepreneurs, mid-sized businesses. I help them tell their story in a newsworthy way. So I get them in the media. Bottom line, layman's term, I get them in the media. I help build out their brand exposure. And, again, this all stemmed from me going, starting out in the DA's office as community relations. It was all, really just identifying and bringing awareness and really telling the story. I didn't know once I got into PR, when I started the PR firm in 2015, NetStruc PR, I didn't realize what I was going into. I'll be honest with you. It was, I knew this from the DA's office. I knew I could do it. I love doing it. But now, okay, how do I do this? And, all of us do the same thing. We love doing what we do. We jump into it. We start our business and then boom. Okay, now what? and I didn't understand the value, the work that I was doing. I didn't understand, because I come from the city of New York, I didn't have a charge factor on that. So, I didn't understand how to do it, but I was helping so many people. So that's where the credibility came back. And that's where people started seeing, the work that I was doing. So I helped a lot of small businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs get featured in the media and really learn how to tell their story. Because a lot of them come to me and it's like, I don't know how to tell my story, or they think they know how to tell the story. And I was like, no, that's not newsworthy. They're not going to pick that up. So we got to figure this out. And they are just so appreciative of what of our conversation and the work that I work with them. I do free workshops, for people to just start thinking about how you are newsworthy. A lot of people think that their brand is not newsworthy, like no newscast will pick it up. Everybody has a story. Mm-hmm. Once you're not sitting there selling, buy my product at $5.99 or buy my this at $10.99. Once you're not doing that, you got to show how your business can be, can help solve a problem, how your business can bring some type of awareness, how it can actually, add on to more of an evergreen story to make people think more differently or think on another level about a particular issue or concern. So that's what I help small businesses. That's what I help businesses do. And, working at that and going the years on with that, I realized that, this is something that the small business can do, and they can compete with their bigger competitors, because the bigger competitors now is literally commercialized. They're factory style. So they're just like sending, pushing things out, where now consumers want to, they want to connect with the person that they're spending money with. Mm-hmm. And that's what we show. The compassion, we show the relatability. I show all of these things. Me and my team, we show all of these things when we work with entrepreneurs and small businesses.
Nice. What's your number one tip for getting into media?
Make sure that you understand what you want your message to be. That is the number one thing. What do you want to be seen as? Your message has to be clear. If you are confused, what do you think a journalist is going to be? So your message has to be clear and concise. Mm. And then there's other things that will fall. But that's the number one thing. What do you want to be seen as?
Nice. What's the biggest mistake people make when getting into media?
Assuming that it's all about you. Mm. Assuming that it's all about you. If you are pushing something that in your head, you're like, yeah, this is good, but it really isn't, because the media, listen, and that's true, because their listening audience is not listening to that. That's not what that's not what they're in tune with, but you're in tune with it. It's not all about you when you're dealing with the media. It's about what their listening audience is concerned about. Mm-hmm. So you have to, get out of your way and do the research. So, yeah, that's the biggest mistake. When you think that it's all about you and you pitch to them and it's all about you in terms of like, this is what I know they're going to want to hear, and it's crickets, you just lost an opportunity.
Oh, got it. Woo, okay. Well, thank you. And speaking of which, I know that you have programs, you have classes and things like that. So how do you serve? Like, how can people, if they want to work with you, what do you have for them?
So I have a couple of ways. First of all, definitely follow me on social media platforms, NetStruc PR, that's on IG and also on Facebook. You can also follow me on LinkedIn, which is my full name, Sharon Devonish Leid. You can also go to my website, which my website gives all of the goodies in terms of what you are looking for. I do free 30-minute one-on-one consults. I do, I also post up on my page, when I'm doing some free mastermind workshops, which, give you some nugget and some tips about how to get into the media or brand exposure, so all of those things. So you can literally go to my website, NetStrucPR.com, jump on my calendar, join my newsletter. I give out a lot of nuggets in my newsletter and also some inspirational stories and events that you would like to attend, whether it's virtual or if you're in the tri-state area, face to face. And, that's pretty much the best way that you could do it. I definitely want to offer everybody an opportunity to take advantage of the one-on-one 30-minute consult with me. So you could literally jump on my calendar for that. And we can talk. We can definitely have a chat and see how I can help you build your brand exposure.
Nice. Well, don't worry, First Class family. We will have all of those links right in the show notes and description. So you can just click away. Okay. So Sharon, all right. What is a final piece of advice that you can share with us on how we can continue to grow as leaders?
My final advice would be stay confident, keep faith, do not follow the fear. Your mindset always has to be changing in a positive way. It should always be elevating, going up and going up. Surround yourself with positive people. I heard that, and everybody has heard that, if you are determined by the crowd that you keep. If you are around a bunch of people that are complaining, always, in the negative, you are going to be that person. If you are around a bunch of broke people, you are going to be broke. These are things that, actually you think it doesn't happen, but it really does. So keep yourself around positive people that you uplift and they uplift you, because you definitely can rise together. So those are the things that I would leave you with. But first and foremost, you got to walk with faith and not by sight.
Got to walk with faith and not by sight. Well, thank you so much for sharing those phenomenal gems. I know we're going to get a few more gems from you in the bonus video. So again, make sure you join our Patreon community. All right. Link is in the notes. But meanwhile, thank you, First Class family, for tuning in for another episode of the First Class Life Show. Again, we do not take this time lightly because we know you could be doing anything in the world, but you are here with us. So continue to go out there, be amazing, maximize your impact, all while creating your first class life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. And never forget that you deserve it. All right. So tune in next time. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. But please be sure to subscribe to the First Class Life Show. And don't forget to rate, leave a review, and join our private community so that we can continue to provide you with great personal development conversations to help you maximize your impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. You deserve it.